Okay, we're rolling.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Talking Shit with Tara Cheyenne I think it's number 6 or 7.
Oh.
Welcome, beautiful Su Feh.
Thank
Su
you.
Feh.
Very happy to be here with Tara.
Thank you for your time. So you are co-artistic director of Battery Opera. Battery Opera Performance Society?
Yeah. Battery Opera Performance. That's how we go.
Yeah.
It's because I realized we used to be Battery Opera.
Yeah.
And then I realized people were like shortening it to BO, which didn't sound
Right. Not as...
So
yeah.
Battery Opera Performance is BOP.
It's BOP.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Kind of cooler.
That's cool. It's totally cool. My first question is, how do you, when somebody who knows nothing about art asks you, hey, what do you do? How do you answer that question? First of all, like that. Good.
I say I'm a choreographer.
Yeah.
Which elicits a range of things.
Yeah.
And, the usual ballet.
Right.
So then I say, yeah, I work in contemporary dance, but my work... Wait, what do I say? I say, depending on who I'm speaking to.
Right.
I'll say my work is, uses text, etc., and all kinds of things. Not just dance.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say, as a choreographer, I feel like I'm working with human body, space, and time. So, however that, all the permutations of that.
Right.
And then usually I might say, for example, my current project is an installation. And
yeah.
doesn't really involve, making steps for anyone.
Right. So. Right. Do you find people get confused?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe, so maybe they just have a hard time understanding my day, what I do.
Yes.
And if I feel like they're interested, I'll actually say, so, most of the time I spend having coffee with people.
Yeah.
Writing,
yeah.
From time to time. Lots of writing for grants and stuff.
Yeah.
And then quite a small bit of my time is actually just making dances.
Right.
A lot of time I'm just thinking about stuff.
I was thinking about that actually today about, and I want to ask you too about being a parent and dancing and being an artist, but that the time to think, that how important that is, and how I think maybe I feel like a lot of us don't give ourselves the time, that whole practice of thinking, of just being with the conceptualization of ideas.
Or even sitting around doing nothing.
Right.
Because it's kind of when things sort of collide, like in your body and in your head, right?
Right.
I actually discovered, in the summer, I was gonna be going to Dublin to perform my solo, and I was kind of worried about performing in a theater because I hadn't done it before. So I was sort of like thinking hard about, what to do. And then I went on a weekend to the bush. It was like some kind of party in the bush with Jason.
Yeah.
And we were, which meant I spent a lot of time just sitting outside my tent looking at trees and actually not being part of the party with other humans. And then I kind of went, and then I got a lot of ideas and sort of eureka moments and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just from giving yourself space to
totally
just be with yourself, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a practice, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So I actually try now. I think having a kid actually helps you. Well, number one, you learn that you can get a lot of things done in a very short amount of time.
No kidding.
So you learn to use time more efficiently, which means now that my kid has grown up, I have a lot of time, and I have to tell myself that I don't need to fill it.
Right.
And I actually need to fill it with me time or with time to do nothing.
Yeah.
So I actually try to schedule, like when I schedule my time in my calendar. I actually try and make sure there's large chunks of time where I don't have to do anything.
Wow. It's very, very insightful. I'm like, oh my God, I totally don't do that. I need to do that. So what does your perfect day look like?
My perfect day is I get time to work out. So that's a couple of hours. I have one thing. So teach a class,
right.
or meet someone for coffee, or something like that. And I have time to spend, and I have time to spend with one of my loved ones, my child or my partner.
Yeah. That's very balanced sounding. That sounds really good.
And then of course there's all these writing deadlines and stuff. Yeah. I do that in the morning. I'm an early riser. One of the results of having a kid is no matter what time I go to bed, I might be partying till 3, I'll still get up at 7.
Yeah.
And bing, I'm awake. So between 7 and 9 or 10, I'm usually emailing people,
writing. Yeah. Do you
Facebooking, tweeting.
How do you feel about social media?
I curate my social media. I think of it as a kind of performance.
Right.
So what kind of things do I put on my Facebook page?
Yeah.
Same with Twitter and Instagram, and they all have slightly different sort of parameters for myself. But I've also kind of I curate the kind of people I follow on Facebook.
Right.
And I unfollow people. I mean, I have lots of friends, but I don't follow all of them.
Yeah.
Just for the kinds of news and articles and stuff that I get.
Yeah. Because it's really, and it can be very kind of intense. I've gone off Facebook recently. Just the level of information.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. So I kind of edit it.
Yeah.
So that I'm getting information that I want. And usually it's around politics and issues. And for me personally, it's about developing language to understand complex things.
Right.
I feel like more and more, maybe social media has contributed to it. Like we develop language now because there's all this sharing,
Yeah.
To understand intersectionality and stuff like that. Which I would have to say, most of my life I was always kind of like something not entirely useful to me. Like one person's position on, say, feminism, or on race issues. Like it's like, and now I kind of go, oh wait, now there's language to understand these awkward feelings, or feeling of this is not quite right, but this part is, but this isn't. So how do I say I'm a feminist and still reject certain ideas or assumptions, or things like this.
Right. It's like a kind of multiplicity of voices. Almost creating the space for new language, right?
That's right,
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that's on your mind right now, like politically or socially, that in terms of language or anything that's like kind of like, the thing that I'm really thinking about right now? Or
I think, well, this changes, of course, but at this very moment, I'm thinking a lot about consent because, I'm kinky, so I play in the BDSM world. Yeah. So consent is a big deal. Right. But also I am aware that in dance and theater, there's a lot of non-consensual shit that goes on. And the vast majority of training that we've had or that, we've kind of done to others, it's non-consensual. Right. And so I'm very curious about how to bring consent culture into a classroom. Wow. And to negotiate, like, how do you teach people to have autonomy over themselves? How do you teach people to say no when you're the teacher and they might say no to you? Yeah. How do you give them permission to do that and still have them be participating people in your class, right? Right. And same with a choreographer. Like, I have power as a choreographer. So how am I going to create an environment where people have a right to say no? Right. But still be part of the creative process. Right. Yeah. So those things are coming through. And then gender and sexuality is what I'm thinking of right now. I guess over the weekend, someone, and I see these articles come up where, people have a kind of this pushback on using, non-binary pronouns to... Oh, yeah. Because it's grammatically, problematic or blah, blah, blah. And...
Oh, man. I know.
So that just is like major eye roll for me.
Me too.
Like,
me too.
Learn.
Oh, come on. I know. Let's stretch ourselves a little bit, shall we?
Exactly.
Shall we?
And the thing is, as someone who speaks many languages badly, I'm so used to walking into a room and someone may say something, but then you're listening for what other meanings there might be, right? And it's just how you learn a language. Yeah. It's like a word is not just a word. No. So... Yeah, you have to look for all the threads that lead to the word. Exactly. Yeah, and language is fluid. Absolutely. As we are. Absolutely. Yeah. I run into that a lot with, in my house and my child, because we're very, like, some days he's in sequins and some days he's dressed as a worker. Right. In a male kind of way, right? Male worker. Yeah. But how he kind of interacts with the world is so interesting, and I just want him to keep that agency he has about it. Yeah. About how he feels on a given day or a part of a day, right? Yeah. Yeah, and in myself too, I've been thinking about my sexuality and how much of it has been a performance of some kind. Right. And so then you get used to a certain kind of performance, and then you think maybe that's you. Right. But is that really you, or is it because you just haven't tried other kinds of performances? You haven't practiced other ways of being, or other muscles. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. Do you have you ever? I'm sure you have. Like, just in terms of, do you try and change? Like, what if I change the performance, and how do I change the performance, and when do I, and what you discover? Yeah. Like performance of my gender. Yeah, or... I think when I was younger, I dressed very boyishly. I kind of dressed very asexually. And partly that was to keep myself safe as a young Asian woman
Yeah.
from being objectified
Right.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I would say also I kept my sexuality more or less out of my work.
Right.
It didn't feel safe to me
Yeah.
to explore it.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the things that being an older post-menopausal woman kind of gives me freedom to actually explore my sexuality.
Yeah.
Just in general, but in my work also.
Right.
Because you're kind of invisible.
Yeah.
And that gives you a lot of freedom.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just on the cusp of that, and it absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's both infuriating and liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm practicing, so this doesn't really answer your question about performing my gender, but I kind of do, because sometimes I like, dressing, in drag too. And playing around with that. But then I come up, sorry, just to go off on a tangent there, I've been coming up and with, not against, but into this idea of, when do I start to encroach on the territory of someone who has felt like, when do I encroach on queer territory? Yeah, I mean, so this question of how queer am I suppose.
Yeah.
And how much right do I have to call myself queer is one of the questions going on in my head. Because on the one hand, I pass as a very straight woman, and most of my relationships have been with, cisgender men. Yeah. And so I've never really felt threatened or not seen in a way, say a transgender person would be, or like kind of more flamboyant expressions of queerness would feel. So I recognize that queer territory is a safe territory for certain people. Yeah. And so I'm sort of wary about. I'm curious and wary. Yeah. When I might be kind of just colonizing someone else's space.
Right. Yeah. It's
so that maybe that's an answer to your question about performance also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. About I guess. Well, there I've got so many questions for you. So interesting. But what's your relationship with your body now? Like, do you feel, just in terms of like this changing, landscape of oneself and age, and also just culture, and what's your feeling these days?
I'm probably loving my body much more than I ever have.
Yeah.
I know, it takes a fucking long time.
Shit, man. Does it ever?
Yeah, that whole self-love project is really a long process.
No kidding. No kidding.
A big part of it has been getting in touch with my voice, and becoming a voice teacher. Yeah. I didn't intend to be a voice teacher. When I started kind of studying voice and Fitzmaurice voice work, to be more precise, more seriously, it was really so I could understand the relationship between my voice and my body. Because I hated my voice. I thought I had to have a different voice. Right. Because I hated this voice that I had.
Yeah.
And so that whole process has been kind of part of a larger self-love process.
Right. Yeah.
And learning to the relationship between changing shape and the sound that you make. Yeah, that's been a huge thing.
Yeah.
For a very, like, a superficial example is, one's abs.
Right.
So, as a dancer, you're constantly told to pull in your tummy, So there's this aesthetic, right, of like this taut six-pack, which I've never had.
Me neither.
And always felt shame that I never had, and like envy, all those things. And then, but then you're walking around with like this constantly held abdominals, right? Like even now, I'm doing that. It's like it's 30 years of habit, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And that's really not useful for your voice.
No.
Because it stops the resonance. You don't have any power, and all the squeezing, and all the. So learning to feel that power and trusting it is kind of something.
Yeah, it's quite transformative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then going to the gym, like, is fun. Kind of discovering. Because I've never really been a very athletic person.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those dancers who, dancing was not easy for me. And then doing like really athletic stuff, was, I was never one of those people. I made myself do contact for 5 or 6 years.
Right.
It was so terrifying for me to be upside down.
Yeah.
So those things didn't come easy for me. And now going to the gym and kind of discovering this athlete in me is super fun.
Yeah. What do you do when you go to the gym?
I do a lot of squats.
Yeah.
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 I had a trainer.
Oh yeah.
A few years ago. He used to be a football player. He used to play for the PC Lions.
Oh wow.
And he gave me this workout with bands.
Oh,
so lots of squats and bands. It's like very 3D. So you're working your core and everything all together.
Oh, cool.
In various ways.
Yeah.
And different axes and stuff like that. And cardio. It's like all together. High repetition.
Yeah.
Very rhythmic. And because you're working with bands, there's always this sort of elasticity in you, and so I could build muscle and still feel very responsive.
Right.
Like in dance.
Yeah.
Because I kind of like lifting weights too. Sometimes I do that, just because it makes me feel very butch.
Yeah.
But when I do that, I feel a little more lethargic. So I generally wouldn't do that if I was having to perform.
Right. That's really interesting. I never put it together, but I have the same response with lifting weights. But it is, there's something, that energy is not, it stops moving, or there's something that's interesting. Yeah.
There's a kind of I don't know how to explain it.
It's exactly that's what you're doing. That's why we work.
There's this kind of like rebound
right
out into space energy that working with bands does.
Yeah. What are you working on right now? Have you got a piece in the works or a new project? Or?
I'm performing the solo I created in the Migrant Bodies project.
Oh yes.
So that's a 40-minute
yes.
Sort of storytelling, singing, dancing, piece. So there's a lot of text and
Yeah.
also sound. I use people's electronic devices. So yeah, I enjoy doing that. And it's very light. It's just me
Yeah.
and my devices.
That's so great. Where are you doing it?
The last time I performed it was in Dublin.
Yeah.
And then the next time I do it will be in Malaysia in November.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it at Push Off in February.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep missing it. And I really want
Yeah,
to
I
see
feel
it.
like it's a piece I can do in a theater if I have to, but I can do it in someone's living room.
Right. And do you prefer to do it in a non kind of
I
traditional
prefer
space?
to do it kind of with a circle of people around me.
Yeah.
So probably the best scenario is like for 30 people.
Right.
And when I'm here in Canada with access to cedar, I do it on a bed of cedar.
Oh.
But I've done it on a tarp when
Yeah.
I was in Europe, and that works too.
Yeah. Cool.
And then I'm developing, I've been building this, I've been building with other people like Jessie Garlick and with the help of Justine also,
Yes.
this installation called The Dance Machine.
Yeah, right.
So that's going to premiere next year at the FDA.
Oh, brilliant.
But it's been,
Yeah.
there's a lot of organization. So basically that's all I'm doing this year.
Right.
And that project's been developing for the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's like this thing that is now about to give birth.
Yeah. Gestation period. Right?
Yeah. I mean, the public
interesting.
has seen
Yeah.
various iterations of
Yeah.
it, but I kind of now know exactly what I want to do with it.
Right.
So I'm quite excited about it.
And will it come here?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the plan, if all goes well, is it'll start in Montreal and then we will go to Ottawa, Kitchener, and Manitoulin Island.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I've never been.
Oh, yeah.
There's this amazing theater company there called the Bajamuji.
Yeah.
Do you know them?
I don't know them, but I know of them.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So they're Anishinaabe, they're
Yeah.
First Nations, and they have a festival called 6 Feet Festival where people are given like a plot of land and do something on there. So about kind of your relationship to the land or something. And then we'll finish here in Vancouver.
Excellent.
In November. So that will be a period from May to November 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Cool.
Coincide with Canada's 150th birthday.
Oh, that.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, what grant are we applying for now?
And what are you doing? You have a show coming up.
I did a show last week. I did Porno Death Cult last week.
Right.
Yeah, 2 nights. It was weird. It was great. It was great. It was just like, 1, 2, boom, da. But there was a big installation. Mickey Meads, the set designer, did this gorgeous installation of thousands of Polaroids, flocking in that exhibition hall.
Wow.
Which was super interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
This was at the Roundhouse?
At the Roundhouse, yeah.
And were you performing in the exhibition hall?
No, I was performing in the theater, so the exhibit kind of led into, and his set design kind of, they were definitely connected.
Right.
That was cool.
Right.
Yeah. I have just a couple more questions. Favorite places in the world right now? Or a place you've been recently that you just you know where I love is that place.
Off the top of my head, Venice.
Oh, yeah.
But I think any city that I've been back more than once is kind of like a favorite place to me. So, say Paris.
Yeah.
Paris I love and hate. I lived in Paris and then I've worked there a number of times.
Yeah.
So I have a love-hate relationship with it. But when you go to a city over and over, you're kind of in the present, but then it's also when I wander around Paris or Venice or when I go back to Malaysia, you're just always going, oh, the last time, oh, Montreal,
Yes,
say,
right.
the last time I was here, or when I was here when I was 20.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when I was here with Jun Hong, my son, when he was 5, or, you know, like, so, like, all these moments sort of collapse into
Right.
the present. So I kind of love that accumulation.
Mm.
So you're visiting a place, but you're also visiting parts of yourself.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
that I
beautiful.
find quite
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Food.
Food.
Yeah. What's like your favorite thing right now? Is there something?
I love food, all kinds of food. One of the things I notice since I hit menopause is I used to be like a total carnivore,
Yeah.
and I still,
Yeah.
eat everything. But I no longer crave meat the same way.
Ooh.
So I've become more interested in exploring vegetarian or veganism and stuff like that. Not as some kind of ideological stance.
Right.
But yeah, it's like if I'm not craving meat, then why eat it?
Exactly.
Like it's not
Yeah.
useful for the planet, not for
Exactly.
my body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's for me an interesting. I like parameters,
Yeah. Me too.
so it's interesting to cook around parameters.
Yeah.
So for instance, this coming weekend I have a dinner party where I have someone who's vegan, someone who is pescatarian.
Yeah.
Pescatarian?
Pescatarian?
Pescatarian. Anyway, pescatarian, not pescatorian. Someone who just eats fish.
Google that.
Someone with an allergy to nuts, someone with an allergy to mushrooms, and then 2 kind of omnivores. But one of them, likes meat.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow.
Wow. What are you gonna
How
do?
do I make a meal where we can all share
Yeah. Yeah.
and have everybody
Yeah.
feel not, like they're...
Like they can only eat the side dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of spending half my waking days thinking
Trying
about
to figure out what you're gonna make. Yeah, totally, hey? Oh yeah. I know. I'm always every week I've got another autoimmune diet thing I'm trying to figure out.
Like people around you or for yourself?
For me.
Right.
And then it completely falls apart and I just have a brownie and
I know, I have eczema, so I'm also
Right, me too.
very and my family they have asthma and stuff, so like the whole autoimmune thing is
man.
something to think about.
Yeah. It's complex and infuriating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question. Anything good on Netflix that you're really enjoying, or something TV or a book or anything like that?
On Netflix, no, actually, I haven't done the Netflix. Although I'm looking forward to the new thing, the new Marvel Comics character, Luke somebody.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm not usually really... so, no for Netflix. So yesterday, not Netflix, but I went to see the new film by Zacharias Kunuk.
Oh.
He's the Inuit filmmaker.
Yes.
He made Atanajuat, the Fast Runner.
Yes.
And the Journals of Knut Rasmussen. So
Yeah.
his new film is like Mali Tulit or something.
Yeah. I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, The Searchers.
Right.
Brilliant.
Is it brilliant?
Yeah. Like literally, I'm sitting like this and I looked around and just about everyone in the cinema is kind of like this.
Oh,
with
wow.
The hands to their
Really?
faces in
Oh.
the mirror.
Oh, wow.
It's like a Western,
Yeah.
but set in the Arctic.
Oh,
It's like the best chase scenes ever because they're
I
on
bet.
dog sleds. And they're like running like through the tundra, like across the ice, but they're like all like wrapped in furs, and it's kind of...
That sounds spectacular.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And what am I reading? I'm reading a bunch of things.
Yeah.
This summer I read Islands of Decolonial Love
Oh, yeah.
by Lee Simpson, and that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm currently reading... I usually have a bunch of things on the go.
Yeah.
So I have Dancing on a Turtle's Back, which is also Leanne Simpson.
Yeah.
I'm reading Anna Kina Schofield's Martin John.
Yeah.
I just started.
Yeah.
And yeah, so far I really like it. I tend not to read fiction.
No.
That was one of the things that happened after my son was born. I stopped having the time or space actually to read a novel. So
Exactly.
I started to read poetry or read non-fiction, so it wouldn't be a big deal
if you left it yeah, exactly.
Or essays, like short
essays are
things.
good. Yeah.
But like reading fiction to go into someone else's world, it was just like too much work for me, and still is.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I found that too. And I've kind of berated myself, like, oh, but I should. But it's that that time to kind of just like
because it's not just a time to read, but it's actually like to go into that world.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, there we go.